Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Hey, Miami Dolphins fans. Big things up as we got the big game tomorrow night in the kind of cold, being silly, of course, super cold field over there at Kansas City. It's going to be tough, but hey, our team is going to be up to the challenge. Good morning, Derek. Sorry, guys. I forgot to turn on my studio light here. I don't know really if it really makes a big difference. You see. But anyway, man, it's going to be cold, but there's no excuses. Hopefully, some of our injured players are back tomorrow. Not a lot of them, unfortunately. That's just the nature of where we at. But as you can see, Xavier Howard has already been officially ruled out. So X-Man will not be out there roaming the field in the frigid cold weather tomorrow. But some positive news on Raheem Mostert and Waddle. They're now questionable. They both missed last week. There's conflicting reports. I've seen some people saying they won't be ready. Then I've seen others confirming they are playing. So I guess we really won't know until game time. But the coach yesterday seemed kind of confident that Mostert and Waddle was going to play. A little less confident if Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott were going to play. So that's where we stand right now going into tomorrow's game. Here's a real quick look at Kansas City. They only have one guy listed as out. They got a long list, but almost everyone practiced yesterday. They got the one guy out, Wayne Morris, and that is it on that front. So we got our work cut out for us, needless to say, because you're going against the defending Super Bowl champions in the cold, banged up roster. But hey, this team was built to win now. They got to go out there and do it. They couldn't get it done against a couple teams that they could have been playing a home game in the friendly confines of Hard Rock Stadium without worrying about weather. But they couldn't get it done against Tennessee, which is a game that would come back to haunt us probably. And then we couldn't get it done against Buffalo, unfortunately. So, hey, G-Man. Yes, it does, G-Man. Lots of injuries, man. Lots of injuries. Good morning to you, G-Man and Derek, as I said. Oh, and Dolphin Don and Back It Up Ben's podcast. Good show. He puts good little videos out there all the time. Fun stuff. Yep, it is it's long, man. Hey, good morning, Card Fins. But hey, it is what it is. They got to go out there. They got to play. Tua has to go out there and execute the running game, whether it's Mostert or A-Chan or Jeff Wilson, Chris Brooks. I don't care who it is. We got to pound that rock some because it's not going to be easy probably throwing around the ball tomorrow. We just don't know what the conditions are going to be like. But if you do get Mostert and Waddle back, that is a good step in the right direction on offense. Our defense is looking more and more shaky. It is what it is. It's a shame, though, because the defense really played well against Buffalo despite all the injuries. So maybe they can step up again and play well against Kansas City. Our offense can finally show up in a game that everyone, so we can quiet the doubters and saying Tua can't do it when it's on the line. The offense can't do it when it's on the line. They're only bullies when they play bad teams. Well, tomorrow is a chance against a good quality Kansas City defense. Believe it or not, even though they have Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey, two very special offensive players, Kansas City's defense has surpassed Kansas City's offense. They're more of a defensive team this year with the lack of receiver production they have, not the greatest of running games. So Kansas City has a good defense. So if Tua can go out there tomorrow throw the rock against them, run the rock against them. McDaniel calls a good game. There is lining that the Dolphins can surprise the football world and come out of Arrowhead in freezing temperatures with a victory. I expect it, Dolphin fans. I expect it because this is the goods that we got sold coming into this year. That this was the team that was built to win now. And, the regular season goals fell a little bit short. I think we all wanted that AFC East title for our Miami Dolphins. I think that was their number one goal, and that fell short. So one of their goals did not get met. They did improve upon their win total from last year, and they have made the playoffs now for 2 years in a row. And we will see. So there are positives. I know a lot on social media. We love to point out the negatives, and we bicker about the negatives instead of pointing out the positives. But I do admit that this is a game that Tua needs to step up and show the people that have faith in him why they have faith in him and show the doubters why they shouldn't doubt. This is a perfect game for him to go out there and show he can do it. People say he doesn't show up in the big games. This is his chance. Derek is one of his biggest supporters on social media. Derek, this is Tua's chance to quiet all these people. Hey, Banana in the house, Vince, up to you. Thank you for coming in this morning. And remember, guys, throw a Dan Marino or Tua laser pass, whoever you want to use, at that thumbs up button. It helps the channel and it's super free. And you can do it when you're not in the freezing cold. So no reason not to know that thumbs up. But the Dolphins, they're underdogs, but they're not as big as underdogs as I thought they might be. I thought they may be like 6 or 7 point underdogs. I think the last I checked, it was 4 or 4.5. Kansas City was favored by. Not a big gambler, but it is kind of a good judge to see what the experts think, that the guys that make money doing this for a living think where the game's going to fall. So they see it being a sort of a close game, less than a touchdown. So that's good. And when you consider Kansas City probably gets 3 points for being at home, is what the gamblers say, then you're really talking about a closely competitive game tomorrow night on Peacock. I hope all you guys have your arrangements, however you're going to watch it. I hope you've signed up for Peacock. I live here in the local market, so I get to watch the game without having the Peacock thing. Hopefully you guys have it. Or you go to a sports bar, make sure they have it, because not all the sports bar I'm hearing have it. So make sure that they have it and that they have the right to show it, and go and enjoy the game that way. Find a friend that has it. It's on the radio nationwide. If you just have to listen to it on the radio, there are ways that you can get it and you can watch it and enjoy it. So that would be good. Hey, good morning, Steve. Tomorrow, 24 hours from this time, you and I will be talking boom, boom, boom about the Miami Dolphins. And Derek, let me know if you would want to join the show and I can make that happen. Hey, Justin, big fins up to you, Justin, over there in Colorado, a man that's used to some cold weather. He could give the Dolphins some lessons about cold weather, but this is taking cold to the extreme. But there is extremely no excuses in my book. This is a team that we were told this is a year we can compete against all the big boys. Joe Rose personally asked him on his radio show on his once a year appearance from Chris Greer if this team is ready to compete against the Kansas Cities, the Buffaloes of the world. And he said affirmative, yes, we are. This is the year. And we haven't beat any of those teams. So, but this is it. You still in the dance. You're still dancing in the dance. And this is your chance to prove that you are that kind of team that can compete against those types of teams. This is it. They have their chance, man. They have their chance. All right, Derek, we're counting you in. I'll send you a link later after I set up that show tomorrow, because Courtney can't make it tomorrow because she's a busy mom out there doing her stuff. So, Steve, we're going to have Derek. It's good to have different takes in the house from different times. Always good to see where Derek's going to come in at on tomorrow's game. But anyway, guys, this is it, man. We got Tua has to step up. I think that's the main guy that has to step up. And McDaniel has to Stick with what's working. If the passing game's working, don't get cute and try to run it. If the running game's working, don't try to get cute. Go with what they're giving you. Go with what's working. And that's the key. Stick with what's working. It's not rocket science sometimes. If the pass is working better than the run, stick with the freaking pass. If the run's working better than the pass, stick with the run. Of course, in a perfect world, it's the combination of well-balanced attack that they never know what's coming because it opens up all the stuff. It's freezing outside, but this is where you grind it out, run like they should be. Munster, Moser, and HN. Yes, I agree. Especially if Moser is 100%. From most reports, it seems like he's going to play. So we will see. He's still listed as questionable, but that's a step up from being out that he was last week and Waddle being out. Both of them are questionable. Both of them had limited practice yesterday. I know I touched on it already, but in case you guys, we got a few more viewers than when I first started this morning. McDaniel said in his press conference, he's more confident on Moser and Waddle's availability than he is on Holland and Deshaun Elliott, basically saying both of those defensive backs are going to be game time decision up to the inactive 90 minutes before, where you have to have the inactive. So that's how much of a game time decision those guys are going to be playing tomorrow. Hopefully, at least one of them can play. We are better when they're out there for sure. Goes without saying because they were starters and regular contributors for a reason. But if they can't go, next man up mentality for sure. Sorry if you hear my dog. We got a visitor in the house visiting. So he just heard the door and he's going crazy. Hey, so we're not cooked yet, G-Man. We're not cooked yet. Tomorrow night, if we lose, you can find me Sunday morning. I'll be doing a post-game show Sunday morning. And then we can, Justin, maybe I can hook up with Justin and we can do start the out season outline, what the Dolphins need to do to get better. But Justin's a busy man, so it's always hard to get a hold of him, but we will see. But hopefully, G-Man, they got one more game in them, man. I don't think they're going much farther, but I do believe they have a shot tomorrow night. Yes, Kansas City is at home. Yes, Kansas City is the defending AFC champion and Super Bowl champion. Yes, they got Patrick Mahomes and they got Kelsey and they got Jones on the defense, and they're very good, but they're still Miami can still have a chance to beat them tomorrow. If not, then this whole year was at least fun, entertaining, and at the end of the day, that's all we got because they didn't get any more than what we got last year. I want a playoff victory. When there's been 20 years, 24 years now since a playoff victory, it's crazy, man, crazy, because technically December 30th, 2000 was the last one. Now we're already in 2024. So we're flipped to another calendar year since the last time we've won a freaking playoff game. So time to end that drought right now. Yeah, you have a puncher's chance. That's what I say. You're in the dance, you have a chance. So that's it. And I didn't even mean to rhyme there, I swear. But if you're in the dance, you have a chance. I need a slogan that because you do, man. You can go out there and you can take control of your own destiny. You can move forward in a lot of narratives. Because I know this is not going to end in the Super Bowl that we were all hoping and thinking was possible when the first ball was kicked off this year. Because that's the bill of goods we were sold, that this team was built to win now and play for now and have like a 2-year or 3-year window. This year is passing, and this was the big window because this is when all the salaries were still nicely all packaged together. Next year, we're like, you're going to have to do a lot of reworking of people's contracts, and you got to rework right. Pick the wrong dude, and you know how that goes. The Dolphins have picked the wrong dude many years, so this is their chance this year to get it done. That's how I look at it. Oh, yes, guys. If you hadn't seen that, New England acted fast. It was already kind of a coach in waiting. Mayo's already up to be the New England coach. They don't waste long in New England land. They got it done. It's already worked out. He will be the head coach. So we will see that moving forward. we don't have to worry about firing a coach right now. And we're talking about playoff football here. So that's good because half the time, Dolphins seems like we're firing coaches and talking about, well, who are we going to hire? And I wouldn't want to be in the mix this year because there's a lot of openings, some good coaches out there. But we are focusing on playoff football. So that's a good thing for 2 years in a row. So it is a step forward. It is a step forward, trying to point out the positives. Hopefully they are done. Yeah, Belichick definitely is the better hire a good GM because yeah, that's where Belichick fell the past few years. He had all that say on who and what talent he wanted on the team. Worked like gravy when whatever. Worked like perfect cooking harmony when you got Tom Brady managing your team. But once Brady was out, you could see the flaws on the team show up. Brady masked a lot of that stuff just with his Superman. I hate to say it, Brady was just the winner. And unfortunately, he was in our freaking division for too many years. And he went on to win in Tampa to show Belichick, well, Belichick, I can win without you. Can you win without me? So far, Belichick has not won without Brady. But this is not a New England show. This is a aqua and orange Miami Dolphins show. So let's talk into a little bit about tomorrow's games. I got a couple articles up here that we can see. Well, as I said, Mozart and Waddle were limited in yesterday's practice. They traveled today to Kansas City. They will have a walkthrough, but they hop on the plane to head to that cold weather for tomorrow's game. Safety Elijah Campbell, who has played 122 defensive snaps this season, is prepared for a larger role if Holland and Elliott are out. So Campbell, you better step the heck up. I'm very comfortable with this defense. Campbell said being able to get a full week of practice, it gives you more confidence. This comes from a Miami Herald article written by Barry Jackson. Just some thoughts I thought would be helpful, about this game. Just some notes of who guys that we haven't really called their name all year may play a very vital role to the Dolphins' success or failure tomorrow. So hopefully it's success that one of these guys step up and contribute as needed. And this year, the Dolphins wrapping up, they only blitzed on 35% of the dropbacks the past two games compared to 19% in the first 15. So they have increased their blitzing. I thought they did do some timely blitzing against Buffalo, so maybe it's a little slight. I think it's mainly because we've lost Chubb, we've lost Phillips, we've lost Van Ginkel. So I think the blitzing comes more from we lost our guys that were creating that outside rush. So we have stepped it up. 35%, still lower than the league average in some areas, but much higher than what the Dolphins had been doing all season long. So I think that comes with the injuries. Kind of makes sense when you read the numbers. But so basically, you're down to Houston, who just signed on the dotted line, Bruce Irvin, who just signed on the dotted line, and then Melvin Ingram, who just kind of recently just signed on the dotted line, and then Ogba, that had basically been put on the trash heap just a couple weeks ago and was complaining about not being active for the game, is now one of the main guys that we're going to have to count. And his contract is a mess that they're going to have to deal with in the offseason. So all these guys that you thought we weren't even going to be dealing with are now going to be vital to the Dolphins' success tomorrow night. So it's crazy how that goes. It's just crazy. Let's see. It's not about personality, man. It's about result. He wins, he stays. He loses, discussion time. I'm a Shula guy, but the fact is, if he wins, he is going nowhere. I'm so pumped for this game tomorrow. It just feels different now, and it'd be Tua's first playoff game. Yes, it's the actual first playoff game Tua's playing in. This is his chance to end some of those, narratives out on there that he doesn't step up in the big moment, that he doesn't beat good teams. He can't play in the code. He can wipe out a lot of narratives in one game tomorrow. Yes, We know Dolphin fans have short memory. In the next week, he would go lose to Baltimore, and everyone would bring out that he sucks again. That's how I guess fans are always going to roll forevermore. Probably how they've always rolled. Social media just makes it a lot more evident. Everyone can get their opinion out there within 30 seconds of a play going down without, I mean, breaking down any film, without breaking down why he did something, without knowing if the receiver ran the wrong route, without knowing if someone screwed a blocking assignment. We all say, "Oh my God, that was a horrible pass. Tua sucks." That's just it. We all do that, and that's just nature. Every fan base across the globe, but I only care about two fan bases, and both of my fan bases I love, they're crazy. We're crazy. Dolphin fans and Red Sox fans, we're all crazy. We want World Series and Super Bowls every year. That's just, unfortunately, it doesn't happen. And for the Dolphins, we haven't even won a playoff game forever, but it's just how fans roll. So hopefully Tua can at least quiet the noise for a little while if he goes out there and balls out tomorrow. Yes, he is limited in some things. He doesn't have the rocket arm. He's not super mobile. He's not super big, but can he get the job done on the NFL level? He has for the most part this year, but yes, he has struggled against top teams. So it is what it is. There's no way around it. He has struggled. You could blame multiple people. You could blame Tyreek Hill for a couple of drops, but Tyreek Hill had almost 1,800 yards receiving this year. So how much are you really going to blame Tyreek Hill? So they just got to go out there and they got to ball out tomorrow like it's the Super Bowl, like it's the last game of the season. Because if you don't, it will be the last game of the season. You go out there, give it to your all. No excuses for weather, no excuses for injury. Kansas City ain't feeling sorry for us that we have to travel into their cold place. They're not feeling sorry for us that half our team will be watching from the sideline or from home in South Florida because they can't go because they're on the injured reserve. They can care less. They could not care less, I guess I could say. So they're just going to come out. Their goal is to beat us to get to another Super Bowl, which they've already been to a few and have already won two under the Mahomes era. So they have proven they can win. This is our chance to prove we can win. Chima, 2 years in the playoffs, both years. Throw in a win, we'll see. He'll be here in September. This early, don't ask as he definitely will be here. If they fire him after this offseason, it's just the Dolphins getting it wrong. I see no way. I mean, if we got beat 50-0 tomorrow night, there's just no way that McDaniel would be out. Normally, if you look at his hiring, he gave Flores 3 years and he gave Adam Gase prior to him 3 years. So if after next year McDaniel doesn't get us that playoff win, then all bets are off. But I do believe he will be our coach moving into next year. Tua's the bigger question. This is it. We will see. Do we rework his contract or does he just play on the 5th-year option? This is all stuff to talk about after, hopefully not tomorrow night, but after the season's over for the Dolphins. I want to delay those talks for as long as possible because it means our Miami Dolphins are playing winning football in the playoffs. When you haven't won a playoff game for 2 decades plus, something has to change. But like I said, that's for the future. I swear I spelled the words great. Coach isn't doing anything for the next 5 years. Hey, doesn't matter, man. When you're typing fast on these things, man, doesn't matter. Steve, don't believe that. What did Steve say? I missed what Steve said. He's gone already. I guess he is. But anyway, Justin, I got ranting and I didn't see all what you guys are saying. But guys, it's in front of us. This is what you play for, man. This is what these guys go out there to do, man. They go out to get into the dance. I'm not gonna try to rhyme again, So they're gonna go out there and they're in the dance and they're gonna be in the dance until someone kicks them out of the dance. That's it. Until they tell them, hey, you can no longer play, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna play. What I bet him in this hat on the Dolphins game tomorrow night? Probably not, because I like this hat. And I don't have that much confidence in it. But do I feel like There's a chance. Yes, there's a chance. Of course, we're playing. Anytime a team lines up, there's a chance Pittsburgh beats Buffalo. I wouldn't bet on that either, but there's a chance. So, you get in the dance, and I'm going to rhyme again. There is a chance. So that's it. So we will see on that front. Let me see. I did want to talk about some of the other stuff that Barry Jackson wrote a very good article on. Give me a minute, guys. Oh yeah, the Dolphins held Kelsey to his season low in the regular season. So do we do that again, or are they going to make sure Kelsey gets the ball against us? Kelsey only got 14 yards against us in the game we played him in Germany. The Dolphins held Chiefs Pro Bowl tight end Kelsey to 3 receptions and a season low 14 receiving yards in their 21-14 loss to Kansas City on November 5th in Germany. So Fangio talked on that. Why did they have success? He said, we paid them some attention, which helped, Fangio said. Probably kept a couple balls away from him, but it wasn't like it was every play. Just sometimes games work out that way. So he's expecting Kelsey to be a bigger part of their game plan this week. He says, for whatever reason, they didn't throw to him as much as they normally do either. So we will see on that front. And then, like I said, Mike McDaniel said he's optimistic about the availability of Waddle, Mosier, and Elliott. It's more wait and see with Holland, who has been dealing with pain and mobility issues after sustaining sprained MCLs in both knees during the Black Friday game against the Jets, the game that he had his famous pick six on the Hail Mary pass. He ended up getting hurt later in the game, and it caused him to miss a lot of time. And he came back, but he wasn't really ready. So then he missed most of last week's game after being pulled after the first couple plays because his knees were messed up. So I don't know if you can really expect him to play in this weather going into that game with messed up knees. I would not be banking on seeing Holland out there. It's good, though, that Deshaun Elliott is, because the Wednesday press conference, McDaniel said he wasn't even sure about Elliott, so at least he bumped up Elliott's status to that he's more confident. So, not that Elliott's Holland, but at least it's better than all the way down to Campbell and all these other guys. So it is what it is. I know that that's a knock on the Dolphins. We have not been that tough bully ball. I don't know if it's a Chris Greer philosophy or whatever. They don't get the tough bully ball type mentality that they're just gonna go out there and bully the hell out of a team. Justin, believe me, Justin of digging in the trenches, guys. And guys, if you want like any old throwback jerseys of the Miami Dolphins, someone that's not maybe on the radar. Like I got an AJ Dewey from him, guys. Check him out. JPF Scout on Twitter. They're different jersey if you get my drift, but they look sharp. They look super. They look fantastic. They look like the real thing. You would love it. And I sport my AJ Dewey quite often here in South Florida. So if you see someone walking around South Florida with an AJ Dewey, it's a good chance it might be this guy, because I think I might be the only one walking around with an AJ Dewey jersey. So it is all awesome, good stuff. Ugh. Well, yes, G-Man, they have that reputation of being soft. What can you do? I think that's why when they got rid of Adam Gase, when they were bringing in Flores, that's when they needed it all. When they got rid of Adam Gase, they should have thrown out Chris Greer with him, bring out a new GM from an outside organization with that tough mentality, a whole different concept of drafting players. And, that's it. But they kept Flores, and they kept Flores again when they brought in McDaniel. Flores has photos of whatever on Ross. It seems like he's Teflon, and the fans seem to love him. And he's the one guy I would pick on from time to time is Chris Greer. But fans, he seems like Teflon even among our fan base. I see people rip Tua. I see people rip McDaniel. I see people rip Fangio. I see some people complain about Tyreek Hill dropping some balls. But like Chris Greer gets all the love in the world, it seems like, for whatever reason. And I think he's like the common denominator. He's been with this franchise for 16 years, I think. And We haven't won a playoff team. And I know he wasn't in charge. I know it's different. He's gone from like scouting and all the way up to the general manager spot now. But sometimes you just need an outside philosophy, an outside different way of thinking, someone that thinks outside the box from their same, because he just grew up in the Dolphin system. So that's all he knows. So he learned from the people in the Dolphin system. To me, you needed to bring someone from the outside. Yeah, no, there's some debate where he got fully in charge. Greer did for sure. They made it evidently clear when Flores was picked. He was the guy that went out and found him. But a lot of people said he had a lot of influence over some of the Adam Gase years. So that's where there's some conflict on where and how and when Greer really started having decisions. And don't get me wrong, he's done some good picks. He's done some fine picks. Hey, Timothy, big fins up to you. Big fins up to you. No, I know, Justin. He needs to catch in the clutch, man. He dropped a touchdown against the Ravens, and he dropped a couple against. And I know he's been hobbled. Not making excuses. I know he's been hobbled a little bit, but you got to get out there because the game against Buffalo, granted, the guy interfered him, probably threw off his timing a little bit, but Tyreek normally makes that grab and takes it to the house. Let's face it. If he makes that grab, he takes it to the house. Yes, we got some yards because of the interference. It is what it is, though, man. If he makes that grab, he takes it to the house. Let's face it. I don't think, or if he doesn't, maybe one of the guys gets an angle on him or whatever. But we're way down the field. He's not just catching it right there and getting tackled right there. He had open space, so he's probably to the house of Tyreek being Tyreek. But it doesn't happen. Yada yada yada. If Eli Apple doesn't have his finger up his nose, he knocks Surfield. No reason for pass interference. The ball's already been tipped. He doesn't knock him on his ass. He just stands here and watch. Oh, nice catch. What are you gonna do? It's like, geez, man, day one when you play defensive football, if you know the ball's batted, there's no longer pass interference, man. Knock that man out of bounds instead of this do 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 do. Oh, nice catch, Trent. You used to play with our team, I hear, because he wasn't on the team when. But man, it's just like wake your ass up and knock the man down. You know, maybe they initially throw a flag and then someone would say the ball was tipped and it gets taken away. Come on, man. I mean, that. That's where I got mad. I mean, come on, just knock him down. Don't just stand there. Maybe you don't get to him, but don't just stand there and watch him. That just pissed me off. And I don't. You can ask Justin. I don't get pissed off too easy, but that pissed me off. There's just little things like that. It's just I know we shouldn't even be talking about Eli Apple, actually, card fin. So I understand. We're down to Eli Apple. We're banged up. And what does it say about Cam Smith? I know Justin would probably say, well, it's hard for a rookie to play the cornerback position in the NFL, but others have done it. When you draft him in the second round and you get all these guys injured and you still can't get on the playing field, I don't know if that's just being Fangio, being an old, stubborn defensive coordinator that doesn't like playing the younger guys, or is he really just not that good? Or he's just a slow learner. And then next year, we're talking about him being a guy that makes a big step up and he's balling and we're all loving the pick. This could be one of those. We will talk about that in the offseason. I would get with Justin on what he thinks of Cam Smith's chances in the future stepping up. But we're still waiting for a chance. So I'm sure Justin's tired of waiting because he kept on saying Channing Tindall, he's going to step up. Now, and I'm sure Justin's like, oh, Tindall's a wasted pick at this point if you're not contributing on anything other than special teams. So, and these are the years where you got to hit your draft picks when you've already given all your picks away for Chubb and Tyreek Hill and Ramsey. You got to hit on those second and third round picks. You can't be missing on those picks, man. That's when you got to bring your big boy pants to draft night and draft day 2 night and be ready to rock and roll, man, and find your talent. That's what you get paid millions of dollars for, Chris Greer. But anyway, like I say, I think the Dolphins can beat Said if he beat the Chiefs, it still won't be good enough for some people like Steve. They want to win with their guy. That's what they. Well, Steve, in his credit, other guys are like that. I would say Steve. I don't even think he's in the room anymore. But Steve is an old school. He just wants the Dolphins to win. And yes, does he pick on Tua quick when things go south? Most certainly he does. He'd be the first one to admit it. So he's a week by week Tua guy. Yes, another good point. We finally get a first round pick in the McDaniel era. Granted, it's going to be in the 20s. Hopefully, it goes all the way down because we keep on winning. But for right now, it's going to be in the 20s, and we will see on that front how it goes. We can make the most of it. There's a talented draft this year, from what I'm hearing people say, and I haven't looked at one iota, so I can't even tell you outside of the couple well-known quarterbacks and the Georgia tight end and the receiver kid out of Ohio State whose dad was in the NFL. Other than that, I hardly know any of the names, so I'm not even going to pretend I do. If Scotty was in here today, guys, do you know how it's Scotty? I haven't seen him for a while. I hope Scotty's okay. I don't know if he's just been busy, haven't come into the show, haven't seen him around. So hopefully he's all good. Let him know. We will. I'm thinking of Scotty out there. Let's see. I'm going to try to get back into there. So, Derek, you are a little more helpful that Cam is his replacement. I hope you're right. He's hadn't gotten on the field yet, and even though Xavier Howard is not playing, I hear it's Eli Apple that's filling in for him again this week. So they are not too high on Cam right now, but that could just be for since he's a rookie. My game plan would be use everybody similar to a running back, do what to pass it up, then get them out of the backfield. Yes, that would be cool. I thought at some point they would have 49ers type Debo. Yes, we don't have a Debo Samuel, so that's a big difference. I know I'm not that one fan. Oh, let's run plays like Debo and just draft a guy like Debo. Debo's don't grow on trees, just like Dan Marino's didn't grow on trees and stuff like that. I wish they did, but run some kind of like where you get a receiver almost going up the middle like Debo does. I know he's a rare breed, but man, just do some design, something different that you haven't shown on film all year. This is the game to do it, man. This is a game, and I'm not talking trick plays because the Dolphins can't run a trick play well to save their life. Like Chan was going to be throwing the ball. Obviously, no one was open and took a sack on it. So for whatever reason, when we try to do razzle or dazzle, it doesn't work. But just like run the ball differently, give it to a receiver, not just like flipping it way in the backfield where he has yards to make up. Give it to out in front and like a Debo does. Do different things, man. Claypool's a big body. You couldn't have worked a couple plays with him by this point. Has to be something different. That's what I say. But to me, I love Mike McDaniel, so I don't want to turn this into a Mike McDaniel thing. I'm still drinking this as water, but I still drink the Kool-Aid of Mike McDaniel. I still think he has the potential to be a long-term coach for the Miami Dolphins. You just got to live with some of his bumps as he grows as a coach. I mean, it's just how it goes, man. You have to grow as a coach sometimes. It took Don Shula learning some, and he came to Miami. He learned from some of his mistakes in Baltimore, when he was the Baltimore, and he led us to a perfect season. Sometimes it just takes, you got to take some bumps and bruises when you go with the young coach. And Ross always seems to go with the young coach. Look, I would call it, I wanted Doug Peterson. Oh, I want Doug Peterson before I even knew who Mike McDaniel was. I like Mike McDaniel. I didn't even know him. We were the only team that interviewed Mike McDaniel. So I was like, Doug Peterson, his team flopped. His team did what we did last year. They had a big ass lead and they let it blow all the way down to where they didn't even make the playoffs. So what do I know? I wanted Doug Peterson. So, it shows that just because you bring in an experienced coach doesn't mean it's going to be any better. So I think sometimes you forget about what things are happening on other teams because we all care about this logo right here, which that's all I care about. But the fact is that sometimes I get it wrong too. I was thinking Doug Peterson would have been the great coach. I didn't want any part. I'll be honest. I did not want Sean Payton. I'm happy that tampering, tinking crap went to hell, and we did not get Sean Payton. He just whatever. He's just like one of those guys to me that He won because he had Drew Brees. I could have probably run with Drew Brees in his prime. Just like Adam Gase got anointed God because he had Peyton Manning as his quarterback when he was the offensive coordinator of the Broncos. I would have looked good. I would have go, Peyton, yeah, go do what you do. Call whatever audible. I'll just sit here and watch you do your thing. I could do that job. So it's just, and like Philbin. Oh, we got Philbin coming in. Oh, but Aaron Rodgers isn't coming in him. Devontae Adams isn't coming with him. So, sometimes we get caught up in the coaches more than the product on the field. Let's just be honest. Can coaches make a big difference? Hell, yes, they make a big difference. But it's not always the end all be all. It's always ends up being the product on the field at the end of the day. I always wanted Jim Harbaugh too. I did back in the day, even though Ross screwed up that whole hiring process while sneakily flying off in his private jet with Jeff Ireland and go sneak an interview. Of course, in the NFL, it's going to pop out. People track owners' planes all the time. And, he still had Tony Sperano as coach. And he's like backstabbing his coach while interviewing another coach at the same time. He screwed that whole process up. But I always liked Jim. I thought that was the right move at the time. They should have just done it the right way. Say, Sperano, you're out. And then gone through the hiring process and maybe Jim Harbaugh probably looked at us and like, really, man, you're backstabbing your own coach, interviewing me, and this guy's, your head coach. So he went to the 49ers, got him to a Super Bowl, lost the Super Bowl to his brother. But hey, I've always liked Jim Harbaugh. Well, Ross, guys, let's just face it, Ross has had some screw ups. But we could have an owner that doesn't want to spend money. He at least spends money. Most of the NFL owners, I do agree, are better than a lot of the baseball owners because a lot of them spend. But he will spend money to correct his GM's mistakes. When the GM says, "Well, we kind of gave this guy, but can we rework it again to push the money and kick the can down the road, kick the can down?" And he would keep on signing those contracts and kick the can. A lot of owners saying, "No, man, you created this mess. Let their contracts play out and then get rid of them." He keeps on saying, "Well, let's rework it, rework it." We know how many times we rework Xavier Howard's contract. We gave Ogba the big money, and then we give all these other guys the big money. And then Greer goes, "Oh, can we give him another bonus to kick the money down the road so we can free up a little more?" Ross does that. To me, yes, I like it. I'm with you, Derek. Me and you are probably in the minority. We are probably in the minority. But he tries though, G man. Yes, he has not hired some of the right people. But until he does, but at least you got a coach that's willing. He would eat if he realized he hired the wrong coach and he still has to pay him for another year. He doesn't care. He'll pay him for another year to sit there and talk about the guy to go get a TV job or whatever and talk about football while still being paid by the Dolphins. Ross doesn't care about that. Other teams will keep their coach until the contract ends just because they're too cheap to pay him without coaching. So at least, Ross will do stuff like that. He's willing to spend money. I think we can all agree he's willing to spend money. Does he always spend the money correctly? Probably not. But does he try? Most definitely he tries. He would do anything to make, hell, we got nailed for tampering because he wanted to make the team better. So, hey, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And I don't like that saying, but he was trying to do anything he can to, make the team better. I'd rather hear stories like that than hear stories like, he doesn't care. He just wants a cheap coach that would come on the cheap. He went out there and did what he wanted, try to get good players to be here. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I agree, Derek. I'm with you on that, man. I'm with you. But you are right. A lot of people will not agree with you and I on that take because I much rather have him than an owner that doesn't want to spend and try to cheap down on everything. And I know fans don't care about facilities, but he's made the Hard Rock Stadium into a beautiful stadium. He gave us the best training facility in the NFL. Now we know there might be better because everyone always tops everyone. But when they made that, open it up the year before last day, it's a beautiful training facility, state of the art, everything. So the guy tries. Does he hire the wrong people at times? Unfortunately, yes, because he made his money in the construction business. trying to relate it to football is different. That's where he goes wrong sometimes. I think he's learned. That's why you don't see him in the media as much because no one, the media never talk about what he does in the construction business. But in football, everything you do as an NFL owner, people are looking. That's why he was shocked that people find out he was secretly interviewing Jim Harbaugh, not realizing that NFL media and fans are obsessed and track your damn plane on where you go and know you're out there interviewing where Jim Harbaugh is. So it's just, it's silly stuff. Hey, Jim G, lots of owners want a ring. Few know how. Yes, of course. I think most of the owners all want a ring, but at least Ross will spend the money to try to get that ring. So, and I think most NFL owners do for the most part with how the salary cap, because you have to be up there at the salary cap. So, it's good for multiple reasons. It's not like baseball where you can be way down here and another team way up here. And it's like, the whole competitive balance is thrown off out of whack. NFL, it's can't, but Ross is willing to eat bad contracts where a lot of owners aren't. They just say, no, man, you gave him the bad contract. It's your job, whatever. Stick with it. So Ross will eat a lot of those bad contracts. Let me see. You have a trade for an injured on injured players. People are healthy for your best. No, exactly. And Greer does have a history of going for the injured guys. Ramsey was hardly ever injured. He came here and got injured, so you can't pick on that. But Chubb already had a history. He stayed healthy up until this Baltimore game, though. But Chubb had a history of having an injury. And, some of the guys that Tua, of all people, we all know he had an injury history in college and he still drafted him. But we all still hope Tua's can be the guy. Oh, believe me, I know. Believe me. I know, man. We all want a playoff win. Believe me, I say it all the time, guys. You guys that watch me all the time know I have two sons. One of them turned 21 recently, and he still hasn't seen a playoff game. I mean, that says enough. Again, it's gone from a baby to an adult living on his own in Gainesville. And he still lives here. I overtook his room when he comes home from school, but you get my point. He's living up in Gainesville, going to school, and all that. We still haven't won a playoff game in that one time. That's how sad it is. It's a sad state of affairs, but we have a chance tomorrow night. Sorry, guys, we got more off on off-season topics than we did game, but you know what? Everyone's talking about the game. That's all on Dolphin Thirsty. We do things different. We go with the flow. We don't need a script. I had some stuff I was going to talk about, but who cares? It's Miami Dolphins. There's the one thing that we all agree on, that we all want the Dolphins to win. G-Man may be more harsh than others, but at the end of the day, he wants the Dolphins to win. Steve may be more harsh than others. At the end of the day, he wants the Dolphins to win. Derek and I try to be more positive, but at the end of the day, we still want the Dolphins to win and get mad when they don't. So it's just everyone rolls different as a fan. I would never tell how anyone a fan and what makes it fun. I don't remind when Buffalo Bills fan Michael K didn't come in today, but that's all okay. He normally comes in and trolls me, and it is what it is. It's what makes fans being fans, because it takes away from all the other crazy things going on in the world. End of the day, it's just a game. I don't know if you guys saw the Hard Knocks episode this week, but Drew Brooks is a personal guy I worked with many years ago. Really good guy. We used to hang out. I need to find a way to get a hold of him again. He's the head of the security for the Miami Dolphins. And like he said, he lost a son. And he said, it's just end of the day, he goes, I sometimes tell that story to the players who, at the end of the day, to tell them it's just a game at the end of the day, man. Yes, you guys work so hard because he can account, he sees them out there working hard. But sometimes it's just the other team's working harder than you. Not harder than you, but they're working as hard as you, and they're going to beat you. And that's just how it goes in football, man. In any sport, I mean, from youth league all the way through the pros or the elites of the elites, you're going to find some people that are just going to come out on top on some days, no matter how much hard work you put in. That's just life in general. Just fun, man. It's all fun. Hey, I would love that. They have to try things out there. This is it, man. If you have anything out there, Mike McDaniel and Tua in your little bag that you haven't gotten out this year, get it out. because you're going to be working on your golf game and you're going to be doing your little perform workouts and all of that very soon if you do not get this W tomorrow. It's all over. End of season interviews, at the exit interviews, all that crap happens the very next day or the next day after that if you don't win tomorrow. So keep this season alive one more week. That's what I say. Is it would I bet on it? Like I said earlier, no, because it's an uphill battle. Kansas City's just the defending Super Bowl champ for a reason. They know how to win games like this. Eventually, Miami has to learn how to win. That's why I want this one, because they may, at least if they get this one, they will have that monkey back off their back coming into next season. They don't have to hear about, oh, they haven't won a playoff game since, Abraham Lincoln was president, so they don't have to hear that crap, that would be off their back. It'd be done. That's one hurdle out of the way. And it would teach these guys on the team, hey, we can win a big game when everything's on the line. Winner go home. I mean, winner goes on, loser goes home. So that's it. They just need that for sure. G-Man and in the 305. Let's see. He asked to understand the player role that fit into only but when you're in question and you're in doubt from a play calling aspect, just run the. There you go. I know, Justin. You would run the ball 90% of the times if you were a coach somewhere. I know that. I don't know about 90% of the time, but the point is you would definitely run more than you pass. George Dixon, hit those things up if you're new and if you like, and only if I earn it, because you can only get things we earn. But if I earn it, tackle that subscribe button if you guys like it. Ravens fans here. Oh, never mind. You're a Ravens fan. Rooting for you guys. I think you'll win in a close one. If they fall short, still has a very good. Yeah. Well, your Ravens team spanked us, George. Well, at least know those thumbs up for me. You don't have to subscribe since you're a Ravens fan. But you guys definitely woke us up in that game that we just were not ready for that game. You totally blew us out of the water. But I know that's why you want us to win, because you feel like you'll totally blow us out of the water. But hey, at least you're rooting for us, so I don't care why you're rooting for us. So that's all fine. Thank you, George. Justin, the running game only works if the defense isn't too deep. If single high safety with one in the box, they can't run at all. Chris Timms studied the tape. No, that's true. I saw a lot of that going around this week. But that's why you got to have a quarterback that knows how to audible. That's why I don't know how much. The one thing we don't know is how much rope McDaniel, or how much fishing line, since I'm a fisher, that's what I will use. How much fishing line? Does he give him a lot of slack, or is that line already tight on Tua? He says, no, you can't change. I know Tua's talked about changing like one or two plays all season when he noticed they had Tyreek one-on-one and he changed to that. They have like a little look for each other. But if he needs to be audible, if he goes up to the line and he knows, hey, when they're in this formation, we do better, he needs to be able to audible. I mean, if it's in one or two plays, McDaniel should have a backup play for him. Like, okay, if they line up in this formation, go with this. If they line up in this, call for the audible and go with this. So I don't know. That'd be the interesting, because we don't know how much room, because Dan Marino used to audible all the time. Like he would go up there and see the defense and said, oh, I got Mark Duper one-on-one, suckers. So he would go up there and audible. We don't know how much Tua leadway he has in that aspect. Well, the Ravens have been blessed with good general managers, man, forever, man. That's why their talent stays so solid over the years, man. I don't know, man. And to me, I don't want to pick on George's team, man. But to me, man, that should be like the Cleveland Browns still, man. Cleveland should be having all that success instead of suffering through all the years and whatever that Art Mardell back in the day. That's why I never liked the Ravens that much. But since George came in here and be nice, I won't go on my petty rant against the Ravens, since he said he wanted the Dolphins to win. But, man, they should just be the Baltimore coach, shouldn't it be the Indianapolis coach? That's how I look at it, man. Of course, I think it should be the Oakland Raiders, the San Diego Chargers. If they ever took the Miami Dolphins out of Miami, I'd be crying like a baby, because I'm born and raised in South Florida. So that would be – I would move with them at this point. I don't care, because I have to be my local team, man. but they won't. They're good here. Hey, Eric Rivera, big thumbs up to you. Thank you for dropping in as always, Eric. Eric says, "Good day, Thirsty. Go fans. We're going to win. The running back's going to do the work, and two veteran defense signings going to help. I hope. But when you sign two guys that were on the street just last week, and you expect a big contribution, it kind of shows the state of the Dolphins. It's not necessarily anyone's fault other than bad luck, curse, not a proper training staff. I have no clue who to blame. It's just sometimes there is luck in sports, and it's just how you roll. Because the Ravens this year, they've kept Lamar healthy all year. Last year, they didn't do too well because Lamar went down and they were one and done. So it just shows that sometimes you got to be. We've kept our quarterback all year, but we've lost so many along the way. You're right, G man, but I mean, I really still to this day don't think G man that is from lack of trying. He tries to hire the right people. He gets his advisors telling him because he doesn't know. He has football people whispering in there, "Hey, this guy's the up and coming guy." You know what does he know, man? He has to go with what his football people. He just hasn't had the right football guy whispering in his ear because I mean he made his billings, like I said, in construction. You know, if he would have had his way, he probably would have bought the New York Jets because he has a big weak ass big mansion here in West Palm Beach, huge compound house. I mean, I say here, I live in Broward, but he has a huge house in West Palm Beach. So that's like his little South Florida connection. He went to University of Florida a little bit before transferring to Michigan. So he has some Florida ties back in the day. But man, he's a New Yorker through and through, man. He would have I think he reports was he was trying to buy the Jets, but they never came up for sale. So he went and bought the Miami Dolphins. So is it his first love? I think Michigan's probably his first love. But does he try for the Miami Dolphins? Now is the Miami Dolphins his first pro love? Yes. He roots for them. He spends anything. He tries to make us a first class organization. He has the same expectations as we do because when they asked him, "Hey, you've spent a lot of money and invested a lot of money in this team between facilities, players, and coaches and training staffs and all of this. Do you expect results this year?" That was coming into this year. He goes, "Damn right I do." And he may have used a little more colorful language than what I just used. But so he expects results. But at the end of the day, G-Man, he maybe hired wrong people. I think Chris Greer needs to go. If they get rid of McDaniel and not Chris Greer, that's it. That's not it. That's me being a fan because I'm always going to be a fan. But then I know for sure they will have Greer has something on Ross. But anyway, guys, totally. Tomorrow we would do a pregame. Today I just got ranting about all the crazy stuff about the possible offseason, about our owner. It's all fun because you guys make it all fun. I love it. I'll be here 10 a.m. tomorrow morning with Steve and most likely Derek. See what his takes are. I'm doing this right off the cusp. Don't want to know Derek too much other than his Twitter takes. Really cool guy. He's SoCal Derek over there. But we will see what his takes on the Miami Dolphins. I think he's kind of more positive like me, but we will find out tomorrow. That's for sure. So anyway, it's all good in the hood here in South Florida. The sun is shining through, and I'm gonna go try to get the stuff I have to do. That's more serious stuff than to talk about the fins up stuff. But that is all awesome. You guys are awesome as always, Chiefs fan living in South Florida now, and just let's say the Chiefs are primed to. Well, I hope you're right, Derek, but you guys are experienced winning games like this. Our team, unfortunately, aside from a couple players that's come from other teams, our players are not used to winning games like this. Until they get a game like this to win, that's why I say tomorrow game's critical for the future of the Dolphins. They got to get that taste of not having a playoff win because if they don't win tomorrow, same thing going to next season. You still don't have that winning playoff experience. You still have the same questions come facing you every year until you show them. Because I'm telling you, if we just choke totally and don't go in there tomorrow and have a good showing, we could start off next year 12-0, and my confidence level won't get cocky. G-Man would keep me in check all year to tell me not to get cocky. Even at 12-0, because I would know the other shoes about to drop at some point. But Derek, it's funny. I have a neighbor, not you, because his name's Mike, but who's a Kansas City fan, and he's been joking every. I tried not to see him when I'm walking my dog, but I'm gonna walk extra slow in front of his house if we win the next morning. I'm gonna make sure I see him because after we lost to him, I try to avoid. Oh, but hey, if we win, I'm gonna say, "Oh, Chase, why are you taking so long here?" Make sure he sees me and go, and just make sure make any noise and come and investigate so I can talk about the game. But if we lose, I'd be going the other way around the neighborhood. That's just how he's a nice guy, though. I have to say, he's a very nice guy. He's lived here a long time, but he's originally from Missouri, so he has good enough reason to like the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's all good. Oh man. Hey, Tony Castro, big fins up to you. Looks like you got Kansas City stuff on too. But guys, if you can hit the thumbs up at least, I know you outside fans aren't gonna subscribe. No reason to. I wouldn't subscribe to a Kansas City show. No reason for you to subscribe, but it does. The thumbs up doesn't show you're a Dolphin fan, but shows that you're supporting a guy with a smaller channel trying to get discovered. The thumbs up helps on the YouTube stuff. Hey, Adam, big fins up to you. Better late than never. Just about to close out. Hey, at least you're Florida Panthers. I'm not a hockey guy, but I hear them talk on the radio all the time since I drive around South Florida. At least the Panthers are winning a lot. I'm going to try to get a hockey game here after the football season's over. They're so close to us here in Broward where I live. I just have to hop on basically I-75 and I'm right there in a minute on the 569 for a half a second and boom, I'm at the arena. Really got to get over there, but that's going to be for after the season. Hopefully this season gets extended, but at least some South Florida team is winning and looking well so far. Don't know much about hockey, but it's still fun. I've been to a couple games up in Montreal, and I have been to a couple Panthers games back in the seasons that they sucked, but I did go to a couple of them. Now they're actually a good team. I need to get over there. Yep, 8-game win streak. I know last night they won because I heard the overtime call when I was on Joe Rose this morning. They played. I was listening to Joe Rose. I could tell you, oh, I was on the Joe Rose show this morning in my weekly guest appearance, but no, I was just listening to the Joe Rose show, and he was talking about that, and they played the clip where it was like last second goal to win it. So that was cool. So we got that he's a snowflake and a chihuahua on the Mike McDaniel stuff. We will see, guys. We will see. Like I say, it's well, like what did I like to say? It is what it is. Guys, a lot of coaches are gone this year too. I was going to talk. There were so many things that we're going to talk about. Then we just got on this rant. Justin, please get with me if you can do a show Sunday, win or lose. If we lose, our focus will be a little bit about the game, but then what we're doing in the offseason. If we win, it's going to be about what we have to do getting ready for the next playoff game. So, Justin, you got an open invite for Sunday morning. Derek, I still expect to see you tomorrow, and this will be fun, guys. I know Ross did so, but the funny thing is, real quick before I leave, the Robbie family, they were known to be cheap and football was big back different in the day, but the Robbie family still built what's now in Hard Rock Stadium, which was first called first called Dolphin Stadium, and then people said, "Man, you got to name it Joe Robbie Stadium." Then it was named Joe Robbie Stadium before it ever opened. It was Joe Robbie Stadium, but in the working stages, it was temporarily called Dolphin Stadium. And someone said, "Joe Robbie, you spent your money. You need to call it Joe Robbie," and his family changed it to Joe Robbie Stadium. Then it's been 50,000 other names since then. But the fact is, he went out there and did do that. But he was known to be a cheap owner. But during those cheap owner years are the 5 times that we went to the Super Bowl as an organization. Wayne Huizinga was a big spender, and Ross is a big spender. And all the sexy names that Huizinga brought us, no Super Bowl appearances, 0. He brought us Jimmy Johnson. He brought us Nick Saban. Dave Wannstedt, believe it or not, was actually kind of a big name still at the time. Brought in Dave Wannstedt. All these different people for what? That's it. So it doesn't matter. May he rest in peace because Wayne Huizinga, like Ross, tried to win, spent the money to win. He was really there the pre-stages before free agencies and it was already stages of this is now like Wild West on free agency. Those everyone's signing big free agent contracts these days. But Ross does everything he can try to do to win. That's how my final take, G-Man. Not gonna argue that he hasn't hired the right people yet because we have 0 playoff wins in his tenure as owner of the Dolphins. So it is what it is. But I give him an A for effort. How about that? A for effort because he's spending that money. Yep. There you go. Let's see. Joel, Robbie, then Heisinger, Dan. Yep. No, you're right. That's how, and that's basically in the era of owners. That's how it goes, and it's how they're ranked probably in Dolphin fans' minds too. The Robbie family first, then Heisinger, then Roth. It is what it is. And hey, for whatever reason, I don't know. We just haven't won. We could come up with every excuse under the book. Bottom line is we just haven't put enough good football team ready to go into any given season. That's bottom line. Bottom line, whether you want to blame Ross, you want to blame the coaches, the general manager, the players, the field, the South Florida environment, I don't know. Whatever reason, we haven't won a playoff game since 2000. So end of the day, does it really matter why? If we could find out why, maybe it would help. But I doubt if we got a brand new billionaire owner because Ross might sell minority interest of the team, and that guy may one day take the majority interest if Ross passes away and his daughter doesn't want to run the football team. But are we going to expect any different results? That's the big difference that we don't know. All right. No, it is heartbreaking, card friends. Derek, there's optimism that Mozart might play tomorrow. Optimism. We touched on the beginning of the show. McDaniel said he's more optimistic that he will play than Javon Holland on the defensive side of the ball will play. So we will see. I hope that optimism turns into reality because him and Achan, they're a good change of pace. And then every so often throw some Jeff Wilson in there. Maybe we can run the ball against you guys, but you guys have a really good defense this year. Your defense, I think, is better than your offense. I mean, though you have the superstar quarterback that we would all love. We would all love some Patrick Mahomes on almost any team in the NFL would love some Patrick Mahomes on their team. But it is what it is. No, bad ownership is that's it, man. That's the big. Unless he fires himself or you get kicked out like Snyder, just not too much you can do to get rid of an owner. Unless he flips it for a profit. But he wants to buy more sports stuff. Is why he's selling a minority interest. And he's made it clear it's only a minority, like 30%, where he's still ruling partner. And he still makes all the decisions. But he wants to use a portion of that money to buy other sports stuff, man. I don't know. We will see. As long as he concentrates on the Dolphins still and tries to win for the Dolphins, that's all I care. I don't care if there's a racetrack, tennis courts, and all that crap. I don't care if there's soccer games played at my stadium. I don't give a crap. I want my Dolphins to win some damn football games. That's what I want. So we got a lot of people not liking Ross. All right. You know what? That's what makes sports fun. I just don't think he's the biggest problem. I do think he hasn't done the job, that we want to build a team that wins. But at the end of the day, he's a construction guy. He's not a football guy. And he has to hire the right football guys, and that's where the problem lies. He hasn't got some of those guys right yet. But there's still hope, though. There's still hope. We're still playing, guys. A whole bunch of teams aren't even in the dance. Yes, we blew a 3-game lead that we had in December. Had the AFC East wrapped up. If you don't lose to Tennessee, or if you somehow beat Baltimore or Buffalo, but no, we blew it. Buffalo's again 4-time AFC East title winners. We are on the road for all the playoff games, starting in the frigid cold of Kansas City. It is what it is. What can you say? But we're in the dance. So, yes, I'm going to rhyme one more game. We're in the dance, so we have a chance. So that's all we can say. At least we have that. 2 years in a row that we've been in the playoffs, and we didn't back into the playoffs this year. We clinched it weeks ago. Yes, we lost the last 2 games of the season, so it almost feels like backing into the playoffs. but we went out there and got it on our own. Didn't have to wait for, Nancy's sister's team to beat Bob's brother's team to, by 4, so the Dolphins get into the playoffs. We didn't have to have some crazy scenario like that. All we had to do was go out there and we earned it. So there's a step forward. I'm trying to be positive, guy. We had a step forward. Hey, he has huge ears, but he also has a huge bank account, man. So the man's obviously smart. He knows what he's doing. He's self-made most of that fortune. So he knows how to make money, but does he know how to make a winning football team? That's the difference. And that's the answer that we only care about. We don't care if he's has the best construction, one of the better companies in New York making construction high rises or whatever project. I don't know what kind of projects he does up there. Not my neck of the woods, but I know he's big projects up in the New York area. Is all I know. So I'm sure everything's in New York is huge. So anyway, guys, all I can say is we're done. Well, we can't toss Ross. That's what you said, man. You know it, G-Man, unless he goes out there and quits on himself. Oh, no, he's definitely. I agree with you on some stuff there, G-Man. I agree. Anyway, guys, remember, fins up. This is fins up, but thumbs up here on YouTube. I'm in my bottom design today. Just to remind those thumbs up. It helps my little channel. Didn't have as huge as an audience as I sometimes have, but it's okay. It's a Friday. You guys got tons of stuff out there that you can be doing. So for my regulars, you guys are the super team members that come in all the time. I love it, man. And that's it, guys. I am going to close this show out. No more to say other than thumbs up, fins up, like and subscribe. Dolphin fans are great. Life is great. Tomorrow night's going to be tough, but we still have a chance because we're still in the dance.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, man, he knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you want to know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won, for all things Miami.